Watch this. Here's a 2-minute time lapse on how much whiter and flattened out these steaks get. Watch for it right now. You see that? Here, watch, it'll do the same thing while it's resting too. Pay attention to the one on the right, which is the ribeye. And right now. You see that? This is a perfectly cooked steak. New York strip on the left and ribeye on the right. Both done perfectly. $15.99 a pound for the New York strip and $17.99 for the ribeye. Not bad prices for how these look. Back at the house, and I've never had Trader Joe's steak, but this ribeye looks great. So does the New York strip. Let's take a closer look at these things. Starting with the New York strip, we've got a nice cut. The butchers did a good job leaving a nice amount of fat trim on that backside. Really great thickness to this, good marbling. That's going to be a great New York strip. Let's go see how this ribeye's looking. Similar thickness, perfect marbling. This is a really nice cut of ribeye. Looking forward to eating that thing. Let's let them both rest for an hour or two. You know the deal. They've been at room temp for long enough, and it is time to hit the pan. Let's take these steaks over to the stove. The cast iron's been heating up for a long time to give it a nice even temperature. We're looking for 500 degrees. 495, that's perfect. Some classic olive oil in the pan, as usual. Although this oil's not quite hot enough to cook with, we're going to move it around the pan a little. Let it get the whole thing soaked up and ready for those steaks. We'll know when it's ready because the oil will start to smoke. You can also tell by how slow the oil moves. You see that? That's not ready. But now that it's back on the burner, it's going to be ready very soon. This next step is a little trick to make sure you get a good sear and a great crust. Make sure you drop the driest side of the steak into the pan face down. The side that was open to the air hits the pan first. That sear is off to a great start, but we're going to help it out just a little bit by pushing down on both steaks. Now we're going to give these steaks 2 minutes in the pan to just sit there and cook, let the fat render and gravity do the work. In fact, right here you're going to see a 2-minute fast time. It's going to show you just how quickly these steaks cook down and change their shape over 2 minutes. And now that it's been the 2 minute, it's time to flip that New York strip. Let's check it out. That is perfect. Look at the sear. Nice char. Now let's get that back strap of fat. This is a nice little trick to help cook up those outside pieces and put them right on the skillet. Get them crisped up and tasty. You can see the steak wanting to curl up just a touch, and that's okay. Gravity's going to work its way on the other side too. That ribeye should be about there now. Let's check on it. Ho ho, look at that. Perfect. All right, same deal. Let's get that outside strap of fat nice and cooked up a little bit. And back in the pan. Just gonna help these out a little bit here. Push on them a touch to help that back sear get started. We're gonna give these just about 2 minutes on that back side. Here's a 2-minute time lapse. You can see them cook down a little, but not as much as when we first dropped them. I'm just now hitting them with some salt and pepper. You can see it starting to drop into the pan there. Now we're going to take a look at the back side of that sear, and if it looks pretty good, we're going to flip this steak back over. Now keep in mind the back side, since we had to flip these right in place, we're not going to get nearly as good of a sear as we got on the front, but that's a good looking sear in the back. I'm pretty happy with it. So we're going to flip this over and we're gonna crisp up that front crust even a little bit more. That ribeye ought to be ready for it now too. Give it one more little push down just to make sure. And let's see what it's got. You know, this one is a little limp, not quite there with the crust. I'm gonna try to help it out a little bit more. No shame in pushing down just a little bit. And I'm gonna call that good. Let's flip it over and get that front facing crust going a little bit more like we were with the New York strip. Help it out just a touch here. And now that it's going, back to the strip. How we doing? Oh, look at that. Does it get any better than that? Let's drop it onto the board. And we are, of course, gonna give that thing a couple minutes to rest. And while that's happening, we've got a ribeye to finish up. I think we're here. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, that is a great looking crust. I know we saw right where that fat piece comes in that it separated. As we set this down, it's probably gonna come back into place as it rests. Onto the board with the other one. And let's give them some time to rest. Watch this. That ribeye on the right is going to continue to melt down and flatten out even a little bit more. Watch this 2-minute time lapse right now. You see that? As the fat renders in the steak, the ribeye, being a higher fat content steak, just naturally melts down a little, whereas this New York strip that we're cutting into now holds its shape much nicer. Oh, look at the color on that strip. This is an excellent steak. Really nice texture, perfect color for how I like my steaks done. The fat has rendered great in this. Really good color on this bottom side. A great crust on that top side. In fact, let's see if we can hear it. The New York strip came out great. I hope the same for the ribeye. Let's check it out. Nice crispy outside, but the rest of it cuts through like butter. Look at the color and the juiciness you get out of this one. That looks great. This is a perfect ribeye, a nice boneless ribeye. And the crust, it's all there. These steaks really came out excellent. I can't believe how great these steaks were from Trader Joe's. And this isn't any type of an ad or endorsement. My channel's really small. I don't even attract sponsors or ads in any way. I just like to make steaks and eat good steaks, and these were awesome. Go grab yourself a couple steaks like this, cook them the way we did in the video, and you're gonna really enjoy it. Thanks for watching Cook's Cuts. We'll see you on the next one.